Good evening children, welcome back. Today we are there in the third lecture of class 11 chapter 4 Animal Kingdom, and in my previous two lectures we have seen a comparative account on some major on some major criteria. कुछ major criteria में we have done a comparative study of the various types of non-chordates and chordates. Today in continuation with that, what I am going to teach you today is not the basis of classification, but yes, some major characteristics which are found amongst the non-chordates and chordates. We are going to have a comparative look into that. Once we complete that, approximately 80% of the characters of the entire non-chordates will be completed. So without wasting time, let us once again look at the major classification in Kingdom Animalia. We know that the Kingdom Animalia is divided into two groups, the non-chordate and the chordate. And the non-chordate is further divided into Porifera, Coelenterate, Ctenophora, Platyhelminth, Aspelhelminth, Annelid, Arthropod, Mollusca, Echinoderm and Hemichordate. मुझे उम्मीद है कि आपने ये सारे नाम अच्छे से याद कर लिए होंगे, because हम जब भी पढ़ेंगे तो we are going to have a comparative study of these animals, in the same order only. This is the order in which they evolved, so we are going to study them in the same order. So the first what I am going to teach you is about the habitat. Habitat is the place where an organism lives. Okay? The place where an organism lives, that is called as habitat. You know it very well that life originated in water. Life सबसे पहले water में आया था. So is the case in animals. The initial animals, they also came in water. So animal में the first group, that is Porifera, phylum Porifera, they are mostly aquatic. They are not terrestrial. They are mostly marine. Let me tell you, Poriferans, they basically include sponges, right? These sponges, if you look at the body, this is like this, the sponges, and they are not only marine, they are sessile as well. Now you will ask me, ma'am, what is sessile? Sessile means non-motile. Now this is something interesting. Why? Because animal का सबसे बड़ा character क्या होता है कि animals are motile. That is the main difference between, one of the main difference between animals and plants. Plants are non-motile, they are sessile. Sessile means they are stuck to the substratum. वो substratum से जुड़े रहते हैं, एक ही जगह रहते हैं. Animals are motile. This is the first animal and it is mostly marine. Only few are freshwater forms. A very important example of freshwater porifera is Spongilla. This comes because ये सारे marine होते हैं, बहुत कम ही ऐसे हैं जो freshwater में होते हैं. तो उसका example is very important. One of the example is Spongilla, right? So first, what is the habitat? They are aquatic, mostly marine, very few are freshwater. Example, one of the major example is Spongilla. And there also they are sessile. Sessile means they are attached to the substratum, they are not motile. समुद्र के base में वो attached होते हैं, they are non-motile. Right? Now let us come next to coelentrates. In coelentrates, they are also mostly aquatic and mostly marine. ये भी aquatic है, mostly marine है. Some are freshwater. इसके भी एक freshwater का मैं example दे दूँ, Hydra. You know that Hydra is the most popular coelenterate about which you know, and they are, they are freshwater. चलो हो गया दो. I've told you about them. Now let us come to, I want to see here, आप देखिए. Next come Ctenophora, and Ctenophora is exclusively marine. ये केवल marine environment में पाया जाता है. I want you to have a look. Which other phylum is exclusively marine? So if you can see green color, Ctenophora, Echinoderms are also exclusively marine. Hemichordates are also exclusively marine. And chordate में, I have written varied, but among chordate, the protochordates, I'll tell you what, chordates are basically divided into two groups. One is called as protochordate and the other is called as vertebrate. Now the protochordate is again of two types. I will teach you. One is urochordate and the other is cephalochordates, right? Cephalochordates. Vertebrate में हम लोग आते हैं fish, amphibia, reptiles, birds and mammals. इसमें से जो protochordates हैं, which includes the urochordates and cephalochordates, all of them are exclusively marine. See, I'll tell you, this is my habit. मैं ऐसे ही हमेशा पढ़ाती हूँ. I always try to point out like this. I was very happy. 1 year medical में ये question आया था. Which of the following is exclusively marine? We had 4 options. One of the option was perhaps echinoderm or hemichordate. तो इस तरह की जो exclusive चीजें होती हैं, इनको आप अलग से पढ़ा करिए because they are very very important when it comes to medical questions, right? Now let us come to platyhelminth. Platyhelminth and Askellhelminth basically represent a group of organisms which are mostly parasitic, right? They are mostly parasitic. ऐसा नहीं है कि all of them are parasitic. Let me first come to platyhelminths. Some of them are free living as well. And इसका free living का example कौन है? Again very important for medical. The example is planaria. Planaria. You all have seen planaria. आपने regeneration के class 10 में पढ़ा था. That planaria regenerates when you cut it into pieces. Each piece develops into a new organism. मैं उसी planaria की बात कर रही हूँ. All platyhelminths are parasitic with few exceptions. One of them is your planaria, right? Askellhelminth में they are also mostly parasites. इसमें mostly worms आते हैं. You know, like Ascaris. It looks like this, worms. Most of them are parasitic, but some of them are also free living. Annelids में it is very interesting. Please open annelids of your NCERT and there you will also see some figures. Annelid में we have all the 3. Some of them are aquatic and you have to know the example of each. जिसके example में आता है Nereis. ठीक, Nereis का photo you will see it in your NCERT as well. मैं आपको आगे भी पढ़ाऊंगी. The body is segmented and since they are aquatic, they need to paddle in the water. इनको तैरना आना चाहिए. So for paddling, they have special type of foot called as parapodia. You can see this. Their foot is paddle-like. The paddle which you also use in boats. ठीक, this is Nereis, which is aquatic. Terrestrial, some of them are terrestrial, right? And terrestrial का अच्छा, I've just written in short form, is earthworm. And you have seen earthworms on land, right? And the third is your parasitic form. And parasitic form में the example is leech. You must have heard about leech. They are found in fresh water. They are they are also aquatic, but they are parasites. They attach to our bodies and they suck blood. So I have given you an example of all the 3, and these examples are important. So I have given you, I told you in Polyphera, they are all exclusively marine. They are marine, sorry, not exclusively, but I gave you an example, Spongilla. I gave you an example here, freshwater hydra. Then I gave you an example over here, that was planaria, right? Planaria. Now I am giving you an example in annelids of all the 3. Now let us come to arthropods. Arthropods are cosmopolitan. They are found everywhere. Everywhere means they are found in soil, water, land. They are found within our body. They are found outside the body. They are found on plants. They are pests. They are parasite. You must be knowing that phylum Arthropoda is the largest phylum of the entire animal kingdom. कहते हैं केवल आर्थ्रोपोड को एक तरफ रख दीजिए and बचे हुए सारे animals that includes all the non-chordate and all the chordate which includes fish, amphibia, reptile, birds, mammals, सारे animals को एक तरफ रख दीजिए and arthropod को एक तरफ कर दीजिए तो भी arthropod की संख्या, the number of arthropod is much higher than all other animals on this world together. Leave aside arthropod में one subtype है insect. Insect के लिए भी we say that the insect group itself is so large that all animals combined together their number is less than that of insects. So this is about arthropods. So obviously why are they found so much large in number? Because they are found everywhere. हर जगह पाए जाते हैं. That only makes them because they have those people who have more adaptation. I'll give you an example. आपके क्लास में आप देखोगे कोई एक बच्चा ऐसा होता है जिसके बहुत फ्रेंड्स होते हैं, he has a lot of friends. Why? Because he has a lot of adaptation. No mean made. कोई बुक ले गया तो ठीक, उसका कोई किताब खो गया तो ठीक, someone took his pencil and never returned, he will never fight. So those people who have more adaptations, they will have a wider circle. Similarly, they have adaptation in almost every part of the earth, so they form the largest phylum. Now let's come to mollusca. Again, mollusca are mostly aquatic. That too, mostly they are aquatic and marine, but some of them are terrestrial, like snails. आप बारिश के मौसम में you see snails coming out. I'm just drawing a rough type of figure of snails. They come out and they move across your houses. So they are terrestrial as well, but mostly they are aquatic. I also want you to know that this is the second largest phylum, right? After Arthropoda, they are the second largest group. Now next come to Echinoderm. I have already told they are exclusively marine. Then let me come to hemichordate. I told you they are exclusively marine. And regarding chordates, you know that even chordates are found everywhere. Even we are a chordate. Some chordate like fish, it is found in water. Birds, they are found in air. Reptiles, they are cursorial. Human beings, we have conquered not only this planet but another planet as well. So that means they are found everywhere. But one group, that is protochordate, that is exclusively marine. Right? So once you have a knowledge of the comparative account of the habitat, it becomes easy for you to now identify many of their characters. See? So with this, now that we know about the habitat, now let us study the comparative account of the second thing, that is exoskeleton. I want you to know one thing very well. You know that animals are basically divided into two groups. One of them are non-chordates and the other are called as chordates. You know it very well. मैं एक बात बता दूं. पहली बात, that non-chordates do not have a skeleton, right? They do not have a skeleton, and if at all they have, right, they will always have an exoskeleton and not an endoskeleton. मतलब एक तो बाहर कोई इनमें स्केलेटन होता ही नहीं, होने से भी एक्सोस्केलेटन होता है, एंडो नहीं होता. कॉर्डेट्स में वी हैव बोथ एक्सो एंड एंडोस्केलेटन. फॉर एग्जांपल इन ह्यूमन बीइंग्स द एक्सोस्केलेटन इज मेड अप ऑफ हेयर्स. हमारे बॉडी में बाहर में कवरिंग इज हेयर्स. Fish में the exoskeleton is scales. Reptiles में the exoskeleton is scales, and we also have an endoskeleton. The vertebral column, ribs, that parts a form of our endoskeleton. तो chordates में, right, the skeleton is both exo and endo. I have written here internal and varied. I should have written it is both exo and endo. Both types of skeleton is present. In non-chordates, they don't have a skeleton, and if at all they have, it is exo, not in endo. हमारे बॉडी जैसे बॉडी के अंदर जो skeleton है made up of bones, ribs, etc., वो उनमें नहीं पाया जाता. Is that clear? So now let us come to some of the animals who have an exoskeleton. First we will come to the Porifera, and I want you to know that in Porifera the exoskeleton is called as spicules, which is unique only to poriferans. So I'll just make a sponge over here. ठीक है, I'll just make a sponge over here. This is right, and I'm going to show you the skeleton it possesses. It is in the form of spicules. These spicules are like pointed structures like this. This exoskeleton is found only in Porifera. And these spicules can be either made up of silica. I am going to teach you later. In some it is made up of silica. In some it is made up of calcium carbonate. And in some it is made up of spongine fibers. जब हम आपको Porifera डिटेल में पढ़ाएंगे, तो I am going to show you all these types of skeleton. Right? So non-chordates, they do not have a skeleton. If at all they have, it will be an exoskeleton, and Porifera is characterized by presence of an exoskeleton called as spicules, right, which looks something like this, pointed structures like this. Coelentrates, they do not have any exoskeleton. Ctenophora, they don't have. Platyhelminth, they don't. Haskell, they don't. Annelid, they don't. But arthropods, they have. Right? And what is the exoskeleton of arthropod? So let me draw a cockroach. See, I am just drawing a cockroach. You must have heard that the cockroach body is covered on the external side by an exoskeleton called made up of chitin. Now what is chitin? Chitin is a type of carbohydrate. और मैं आपको यहाँ पर दो चीजें बताऊंगी. क्या? एक साल मेडिकल में ये क्वेश्चन आया था. You know what happens when an organism becomes terrestrial? जब हम जमीन में आ जाते हैं तो हमारा सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज क्या होता है? हमारा सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज ये होता है हाउ टू प्रिवेंट लॉस ऑफ वाटर. You know that about 70 to 90% of the cell weight is made up of water. हमारा बॉडी भी लगभग 70% वाटर का बना है. जब तक हम पानी में रहते थे that was not a problem. We could have taken water from outside. The moment we became terrestrial, now water became a luxury for us. ठीक. So what happens in arthropod? Why are they so successful? Why do they form the largest kingdom? Because they have an exoskeleton made up of chitin, and this chitin, you know, it prevents loss of water from the body, thus enabling it to, you know, survive under almost all types of environments. तो ये जो chitin है, मैं आपके बारे में, ये वही chitin है जो fungi में भी पाया जाता है, right? This is the second largest abundant carbohydrate found on this earth. इस दुनिया में वो carbohydrate जो सबसे abundant है, that carbohydrate is your cellulose, which is found in plants. Cellulose के बाद the second most abundant carbohydrate on this earth is chitin, and this chitin is found not only in fungi but also in arthropods. Question आया था मेडिकल में, what makes arthropod the largest kingdom? या शायद क्वेश्चन आया था what makes arthropods survive under all conditions. One of the option was exoskeleton made up of chitin. So this is how the, you know, chitin, this is the importance of chitin in the body of arthropods, right? Now that you know what is the exoskeleton in arthropods, so now let us come to the exoskeleton in mollusca. In mollusca also we know that they have calcium carbonate shells. आपने snails देखा है, आपने sepia देखा है, आपने देखा है कि in their body, if you look at the snail's body, it has a rigid like this, you know, calcium carbonate का बना हुआ shell type का structure होता है जिसके अंदर इसके soft body पाई जाती है. So they also have calcium carbonate shells around their body. Echinoderms. Now echinoderm is really very interesting. How? Let me tell you over here. So let me find out some place to tell you about echinoderm. I'll just keep on everything here. मैं echinoderm को यहाँ बनाती हूँ. Echinoderm में the most common echinoderm that you identify with is the starfish, right? So इससे आप सबसे ज़्यादा identify करते हैं वो है starfish. Starfish के ऊपर में ऐसे अगर देखोगे ना बेटा, तो you will find calcareous ossicles. This is called as ossicles. That is the exoskeleton. मैं आपको एक इंटरेस्टिंग चीज बताती हूँ. पहले in earlier time the last non-chordate was echinoderm. आपको hemichordate में नाम भी पता लग रहा है, hemichordate. Initially they were kept in chordates. We thought that they are chordates. Later we found that they do not have notochord at any stage of their life. So we removed them from chordate. So sort of echinoderm was considered as connecting link between the chordates and the non-chordates. Echinoderms. And I am telling you, echinoderm actually have many characters which resembles that of chordate, which shows that from echinoderms gradually, you know, the chordates they develop. One of them is about this calcareous spicules. मैं आपको एक चीज बताती हूँ. I told you that chordates are characterized by endoskeleton made up of calcium. आपको पता है हमारे बॉडी में हमारा जो हड्डी है, बोन्स है, वो मेनली कैल्शियम के बने हुए. And are this, you know, calcium से बना हुआ skeleton is endogenized. It is not exo, it is endogenized. And you'll be surprised to know that these ossicles, when we study them, suppose if I am drawing one of the ossicle over here, say this is my starfish, ठीक है, and इसके अंदर का I am just reading, you know, this is the ossicle. if you study it, you will find that only a part of the ossicle is visible outside. Most of it is inside the body of the starfish. Most of it is inside. Only a small part is visible outside. बचा हुआ इसका majority part इसका ऊपर में थोड़ा सा दिखता है. अगर आप इसके स्किन को देखोगे ना, if I make the skin with the red color like this, starfish, like most of it is inside. This is ये क्या चीज का proof है? It is a proof that gradually ये calcium का बना हुआ skeleton, it was going inside and caudate आते आते it went completely inside and we have an endoskeleton made up of calcium. So they have calcareous spicules. I want to tell you once again, you see only the tip of the iceberg on the top. ऊपर में आप सिर्फ थोड़ा सा देखते हैं, इसका majority part is within the body. This is somehow identification of the fact that the skeleton is being pushed inside the body, and in chordates the skeleton is endogenized. Right? So let us quickly see this once again. I told you that non-chordates, they do not have a skeleton. If at all they have, they will have exo, not endo like us. Right? Porifera, they have exoskeleton in the form of spicules, which can be made up of silica, calcium carbonate or spongine fibers. Now in case of arthropod, it is made up of chitin. In case of mollusca, it is made up of calcium carbonate shells. In case of echinoderms, it is called as calcareous ossicles. And in heavy chordate and in chordate, of course, we have both exoskeleton and endoskeleton. And exoskeleton varies. Fish mate is scales, reptiles mate is scales, birds mate is feathers, mammals mate is hair. Similar, but the endoskeleton is same. It is made up of vertebral column and the skull, etc., which is found in all the chordates. Right? So this is the second comparative. I told you, gave you a comparative account of some characters, another character among the various non-chordates, and a comparison with that of chordates. Now let us move with the third one. The third one is now, from here we will start the systems. I told you organ system level of development मैंने आपको बताया था. So now I am going to give you about the various systems. Various system being digestive system, circulatory system. I will give a comparative account of the entire thing. So let me start now first with the digestive system. As I always told you that in I must tell you, Porifera is the only group where the digestive system is absent. आप बोलोगे क्यों मैम? Because if you remember from what I taught you yesterday, I told you that Porifera में the level of development is cellular. That means all the cells, they do their own function. There is no division of labor. हर एक cell अपना digestion भी खुद करता है. So there is no common digestive system which will digest food for all the cells of the body. Just they have, बाहर में they have ostia. This is they are called as porifera because they have a lot of pores on the body. So I am just showing a pore. यहाँ से water will come here. So this is your ostia. ठीक? Ostia से the water comes into a common cavity. This cavity is called as spongiocele. Cele means cavity. It is a cavity which is present in sponges. So we call them as spongiocele. Right? And from here the water will go to the outside through a large opening, and this large opening is called as osculum. Right? Now what happens? It is lined by cells on either sides. ठीक है? अब ये यहाँ पर say it is lined by cells. तो यहाँ पर ये cell है. Say this is a cell. Water will come inside. This water will bring food. The food will be given to each and every cell, and all the cells, they will do their own digestion. Right? Since all the cells, they do their own digestion, this common cavity at the center, it does not represent gut. याद रखना, this does not represent gut. This is just a cavity जिसमें water enter करता है. The water I am showing in green color. It will come here. ठीक, it will bring food and oxygen. It will be given to all the cells. The cells will in return give carbon dioxide and waste. And as the water, this water will then accumulate in this common cavity called as spongiocele. This spongiocele is not gut, it is just a common cavity, and the water will leave through the osculum, and the water which goes out, it will carry waste and carbon dioxide along with itself. Since all the cells, they do their own digestion, so a common digestive system which will digest food on behalf of all the cells, that is absent in Porifera. सेलुलर लेवल ऑफ डेवलपमेंट है, सारे सेल अपना डाइजेशन खुद करते हैं, इसलिए कोई प्रॉपर डाइजेस्टिव सिस्टम नहीं है, बस बीच में एक कैविटी है जिस कैविटी को हम कहते हैं स्पॉन्जोसील। राइट, नाउ दैट वी हैव डन इट, this is I have told you this about porifera. The digestive system is absent, I told you. Now let us come to coelentrates. Right, now let us come to coelentrates. In coelentrates what happened, for the first time digestive system has come, इसीलिए देखिए इसका नाम coelentrate है. I'll tell you something about its name. You know, seal and coelenterate, right? See, it is actually divided into two. One is seal. Seal means cavity, right? And enteron. Enteron, E-N-T-E-R-O-N. Enteron means gut or the digestive system. The first organism in which a cavity in the form of digestive system has come up, we call them as coelenterons. नाम से ही पता लगता है. Coelom, I told you, seal means cavity, enteron means gut or digestive system. For the first time, a cavity called as digestive system has come in them. That is why they are also known as coelentrates. But in them, the digestive system is incomplete. And now I will draw a hydra. Now in this hydra, you will make a comparison with porifera. Now this is a hydra, and let me make it again. So this is the hydra, right? And these are some of the tentacles it has. So I'm just making it. The central cavity is called as gut. The central cavity is called as gut. But there is a single opening which acts as mouth and anus. यहीं से waste निकलेगा. So a single cavity acts as mouth and anus. So though they are the first organism जिसमें digestive system आपका आया, but the digestive system is incomplete. But the digestive system is incomplete. Is that clear? ठीक है, so they do not have a digestive system. They have a digestive system, but it is incomplete. You can see here, in case of sponges, this central cavity I didn't call as gut, I called it as spongocoel. But in case of coelentrates, I called this central cavity as gut or the digestive system. Same is the case of Ctenophora. They also have a digestive system which is incomplete. Platyhelminths, mean normally the digestive system is absent. Normally, why? They are parasites. Parasites take ready-made food from their host. तो जब हम ready-made food ले रहे हैं तो हमको digestive system की क्या जरूरत है? I'll give you an example. Say I live in my house, but I am parasite on my neighbor. मेरे neighbor से मुझे सब कुछ खाना बना बनाया खाना. I always do what? I go and pick up the breakfast from there. Or suppose you are staying as a PG. ठीक है, आप किसी के यहाँ पर PG के जैसे रह रहे, तो वही आपको नाश्ता देते हैं, वही आपको खाना देते हैं. So when you are getting all the food from your host, मुझे अपने neighbor से नाश्ता खाना सब कुछ मिल जाता है, तो why will I have a kitchen in my home? When I have to cook nothing, why will I have a kitchen? Similarly, parasites, they take ready-made food from their host. So in them mostly, at least the parasitic forms, the digestive system is reduced or absent because they do not need to digest their own food, right? In Askell helminth, these are the first organism in which the digestive system became complete. So I am just drawing an Askell helminth, that this is Ascaris, right? I am drawing an Ascaris, and this is the digestive system. There is a mouth, right? It will go to the other end of the body, and this is your anus. That means this is the digestive system is complete. Mouth, this is called as anus, and I told you, not only do we call it as complete digestive system, we also call it as tube within a tube system. ये देखो बाहर का red वाला is a tube and the gut is another tube. So we call this as tube within a tube system. Complete digestive system को we call as tube within a tube system. And Askell helminth onwards, all organisms in them the digestive system is complete. That means we have a proper mouth and anus. Only thing is the complexity of the digestive system changed. In some, they had pharynx, in some they had stomach, in some the duodenum, in some, the duodenum was further differentiated, large intestine, the complexity varied, but the digestive system became complete after Askell-Helmin. So the first one, जिसमें digestive system is complete, is Askell-Helmin, and there onward, in all the organisms, including chordates, the digestive system is complete. So let us have a look once again. I am teaching you about digestive system. In Porifera, since all the cells, they digest their own food individually, so there is no common system called as digestive system. Coelenterate, the name itself says cele means cavity, enteron means gut. These are the first organism where we have a digestive system, but it is incomplete. There is a single opening for mouth and anus. In Askell-Helmin, the digestive system for the first time becomes complete. This is called as a tube within a tube system, and later on, all of them, the digestive system is complete. Right? Now let us come to another character which we will be looking at again in a comparative form. जैसे ही मैंने आपको digestive system पढ़ा दिया, now next I am going to talk you about the process of digestion. I want you to understand that in Porifera, let me come back once again. In Porifera, as I told you, right, that there is, say this is my Porifera, that is the sponge, this is the spongiocele, you know that, and you know that it has a lot of pores, that is why we call it as Porifera. And these pores, this is a pore which will connect it to the central cavity called as spongiocele, and it is lined by cells on either sides. And all the cells, they do their own digestion. So obviously here the digestion is intracellular. यहाँ cell के अंदर में digestion होता है, not in a common cavity called as gut. Since the digestion takes place in all individual cells, right? Since digestion takes place in all individual cells, this type of digestion is called as intracellular digestion, right? हर cell में अपना digestion खुद होता है. So we call it as intracellular. The digestion does not take place in a common cavity. Now in coelenterate, you know that a common cavity called gut आ गया, ठीक है? Now I am talking about, hydra. This is my hydra. I am just drawing the tentacles also. And we have a common cavity called as gut. And gut का काम क्या है? To digest food on behalf of all the cells of the body. सारे cells के behalf में यही digest करेगा, and later the digested food will be sent to each and every cell. ठीक है? Once the food is digested, we will send this digested food to each and every cell of the body, right? But what happened here? These are the first organisms which decided कि क्यों ना एक common cavity called as gut में खाने को digest करें, right? So in them, digestion is partly intracellular and partly extracellular. Partly intra and partly extra. इससे क्या मतलब है? I will just explain you right now. Partly extracellular इसको हम बोलते हैं. इसका मतलब क्या है? सुनिए. I'll give you an example and then you will understand what I am trying to say. ये जो यहाँ पर हुआ क्या? We live in an apartment. उस apartment में there are 8 flats. 8 flats हैं, 8 families वहाँ रहती हैं. Every family cooks its own food. Everyone cooks its own food. So this is intracellular digestion, which is comparable to that of Porifera, because every cell is digesting their own food, right? Then what we decided is that every family is cooking its own food. As a result, 8 housewives are being involved in one task. सब बेचारे खाना लेने जाते हैं, सब्जी लेने जाते हैं, बनाते हैं, बर्तन धोते हैं. So why don't we do one thing कि नीचे में जो community hall है, right? उस community hall में हम सारे flats का खाना एक ही जगह बनाएं. Why don't we hire a cook? That way, he will bring food in bulk. He will cook the food, and once the food is cooked, we will send it to each and every house. That is called as extracellular. मतलब घर के बाहर खाना बन रहा है, and then it is being sent to every house. That is called as extracellular. तो यहाँ से तो extracellular होगा. But when for the first time we decided कि चलो ऐसा बनाते, भाई सोसाइटी में क्या है? There can be some Bengalis, there can be some Biharis, there can be Gujaratis, Marwadis. So obviously everyone can have a different taste of food. तो we are little skeptical. थोड़ा सा डाउट है कि अगर सब एक जगह खाना बना लेंगे, पता नहीं पसंद आएगा कि नहीं आएगा. तो what we decided was कि half food cook होगा नीचे community hall में. Half means आटा लगा देंगे, सब्जी काट देंगे, half of the food will be cooked in the community hall. The half cooked food we will bring to our houses, and then we will do the remaining cooking by ourselves. That is what actually happened in Coelenterate and Ctenophora. Though they had a gut, but this is the first time they had decided to go for a community digestion. That means gut में digestion करते. For the first time they decided, so they were not very sure about it. So what happens is, when the food enters inside this, I'll just draw it here once again. Draw it a little bigger so that you understand. This is the gut, and maybe this is your hydra with its tentacles. I'm just drawing it here. So what happens is, and these are my cells. So these are my individual cells. So what happens is, whenever a food enters, say it is a Daphnia. Daphnia is a type of microbe which Hydra actually eats. They are going to pour digestive enzymes over here. Obviously, gut में digestion किससे होता है? With the help of digestive enzymes. And this food will be partly broken down. And this partly broken down food will now be sent to the cells, where these cells will make the remaining enzymes that are required. That means all the enzymes are not present in the gut. This is your digestive enzyme. So some are there in the gut. Partial breakdown के बाद this food was sent to the individual cells, where with the help of enzyme they digested the remaining food. This type is called as partly extracellular and partly intracellular. And this type of digestion is found in Coelenterate and Ctenophora, which shows that one fine day कोई magic नहीं हुआ कि it was intracellular and extracellular. Evolution has always taken a process. It has taken time. It has always tried and tested before finalizing any formula. तो हुआ क्या? So here the digestion is both intracellular and extra. This is intra. Platy helminth में तो मैंने बोला था वो digested food ही लेता है, right? From Askell helminth onwards, the digestion was purely extracellular. Means all the food purely extracellular का मतलब क्या है? Right? If this is the body of the organism, say I'm just saying this is the gut of the organism, and say this is the body of the organism, the food on behalf of all the cells will be taken here. Then enzymes will be secreted, all the enzymes will be secreted here. The food will be completely broken down here. Once it is broken down, I'm just showing it in blue, and the completely broken down or digested cells will be, food will be sent to each and every cell of the body. So this is called as purely extracellular. The complete digestion took place in the gut, and once the digestion got over, only then we sent it to the various cells of the body. So this is called as extracellular digestion, right? So मैंने आपको बताया था, I'm going to tell you about the various systems of the body. So first system I have discussed is digestive system. How digestive system evolved. There is no digestive system here. Here the digestive system is incomplete. From here onward it is complete. Till here the digestion is intracellular and extracellular, and then gradually the entire digestion took place in the gut itself, right? Now that we have done a comparative account on digestion, ठीक है? So 4 things we have done. Let us take a quick recap of the 4 points that we have done before we proceed further. Habitat, I told you that there are some are marine, some are parasitic, some are exclusively marine, which I want you to see, right? Then exoskeleton, in some it is spicule, some it is chitin, some calcareous ossicles, and it is varied in chordates. Digestive system, I gave you an account how the digestive system first was absent, incomplete, and then complete. And digestion, how intracellular to partly intracellular, extracellular, then we went to extracellular digestion. Okay? Now that we have done a comparative account on these 4 parameters, let us move to the next one, that is nervous system and excretory system. Other than digestive system, the 2 more systems they developed right from the beginning. एक तो आपने देखा digestive system सबसे पहले आया, right from Coelenterate the digestive system originated. Second was nervous system, control and coordination, and third was reproductive system. That is found in all, क्योंकि every organism will reproduce. So these 3 systems they are found right from the beginning. Others they have evolved later, right? So I am talking you about nervous system. In periphery the nervous system is absent. And I'm sure you will not ask me why. क्योंकि nervous system का काम क्या होता है? To coordinate between different cells and organs of my body. And coordination की जरूरत कब होती है? जब आप मिलकर कुछ काम कर रहे होते। अगर आप सब अपना अपना काम खुद कर रहे हैं तो coordination की क्या जरूरत है? As I told you, in them the level of development is cellular. All the cells they do their own work. So इसमें control and coordination की क्या जरूरत होती है? कहने का मतलब ये है, suppose I give you holiday homework and I ask you, you are 4 people and I ask you that all of you have to make a project and each one has to make its own project. It is not a group work. सबको अपना अपना काम खुद करना है। तो अगर सबको अपना अपना प्रोजेक्ट खुद बनाना है तो obviously you don't need any coordination. There is no necessity that you should call each other to ask to what are you doing, what are you doing. Why? Because all of you are doing your independent work. Since here all the cells they do all their work independent, what is the need for coordination? So nervous system is absent. Coordination की जरूरत कब होगी? When I ask that 4 of you have to make one project, then you need to coordinate. Say who you make the introduction, I will do all the diagrams, I will do all the write-up, I will do all the references. So you need to coordinate. कहीं ऐसा नहीं हो कि सारे ही introduction कर दे. So you need to be in constant touch. That means you need a coordinating system. So coordinating system, that is nervous system, came from coelentrates onward. Why? Because you know that in coelentrate the level of development is tissue and tissue में क्या होता है? A group of cells they perform a similar function. So since a group of cells they are involved in doing one function, they need some sort of coordination between them. So the first coordinating system that came was nervous system, and in porifera it is absent. In coelenterate it looks like a nerve net. Now what is this nerve net? Please look it over here. आप यहाँ पर मेरा देखो, right? Say I am making a hydra. Once again I am making a hydra. इस बार उसका गट नहीं बना रही, right? I am making its tentacles as well. They have neurons, but the neurons are forming a net. See, this is a neuron जिसमें से ऐसे cyton निकल रहा है. This is a neuron जिसमें से axons and dendrons निकल रहा है. There's another neuron here. There's another neuron here. There's another neuron here, and these are actually connected to each other like this. This is connected here. This is connected here. This is connected here. This is connected here. So it is actually forming what? It is forming a net. So we call it as nerve net. Right? So since in coelentrates for the first time the nervous system came, it was in the form of a net, right? That's like in the form of a net. Now what happens in ctenophora also, it was in the form of a net. Later in others the model changed, and why I will tell you now. Suni, I'll give you an example. This is my room. In my room, I have a lot of electrical appliances, like there is a light, there's a fan, there's another light, there's another fan. ऐसे बहुत सारे electrical appliances यहाँ पर हैं, ठीक है? And I have a switchboard जिससे तार हर electrical appliances में जा रहा है. This wire is going to each of the electrical appliances. So this switchboard is something like my brain. And the wires that are going across to each and every electrical appliance, this is some sort of your nerve, the neurons, the nerves. There are 2 options. One, say I have my switchboard over here and इससे मैं एक तार ऐसे पंखा में ले जाती हूँ, एक तार ऐसे लाइट में ले जाती हूँ, एक ऐसे लाइट में ले जाती हूँ. It's fine. If I just pull the wires like this and put it in one, it is fine. But what will happen? It will get entangled. मैं रूम में जब भी घुसूंगी तो क्या होगा? एक तार यहाँ से जा रहा है, एक तार यहाँ से जा रहा है. That will be very clumsy. So, लेकिन शुरू में तो आदमी को evolution में initial में क्या होता है? It is just a trial method. तो initially what happened? It formed a nerve net. Nerve net means there were many neurons, and these neurons, yes, they were connected to different parts of the body, but they were connected haywire, like this, like this, like this. They formed a nerve net. Later we decided, जैसे मैंने रूम में भी बताया कि भैया अगर हम ऐसे तार लगाएंगे, एक तार ऐसे लाइट में जा रहा है, एक तार ऐसे फैन में जा रहा है, then it will become hodgepodge. There will be only तार, there will be only wires everywhere. It will be very difficult to move in the room and keep other things, table, chair, TV रखना बहुत मुश्किल हो जाएगा, right? So what I decided was I pulled all the wires together. हम लोग करते क्या है, if this is the switch board, इससे जब switch निकलेगा, we put all the wires together and these wires we have those casing pipes, and उस pipe से we are taking it to every part so that what happens, the internal room is neat and clean. Similarly, initially the nervous system was in the form of nerve net, but later what happened, this is from platyhelminth to encordate. Oh sorry, this is a this is a big mistake I have done over here. This will not be ventral solid, it will be dorsal hollow. Here it will be dorsal hollow. At least I am explaining you now. So what happened is, हमने इन तार को एक जगह कर दिया. I am just drawing a hypothetical diagram. This is not Hydra. I am just drawing a hypothetical animal. Rather than having this, what I did was, I put all the neurons at one place. I put all the neurons at one place like this, and I made a cord-like structure. I connected it like this. That means मैंने कहा ना, जो तार ऐसे ऐसे बिखरे थे, मैंने सबको समेट के एक जगह कर दिया so that through casing it could go. This is called as when this is found on the ventral side in non-chordates. In non-chordates, all these neurons they have been pulled at one side. They are in the form of a cord मतलब रस्सी, and they are found on the ventral side and they are solid. That means all the neurons, they are very tightly packed and they are solid, they are not hollow from within. So in others, after from platyhelminth onward, all of them, the nervous system is in the form of neurons, but all the neurons, they are compactly arranged at one place. They form a cord-like structure on the ventral side of the body, so we call them as ventral solid nerve cord. Only in chordates it changed. How did I change? I'll tell you. Non-chordate में they have solid, let me draw something solid. Non-chordate में they have solid ventral nerve cord and the heart is on the dorsal side. I told you this side is ventral, V for ventral, this is dorsal. Non-chordate में nerve cord is here and heart is over here. Chordate में it exchanged. In chordates, the heart is on the ventral side and the nerve cord is on the dorsal side. So sorry, there's a mistake. And in us, our nerve cord is not solid, it is hollow. बीच से cerebrospinal fluid जाता है. It is not solid like this, right? Rather, it is hollow and there's a space. You know what was the advantage of being a hollow? When the nerve cord was solid, see. So it was getting nourishment only from outside. The neurons were getting nourishment only from outside. The moment we made it hollow, now अंदर में भी cerebrospinal fluid है, बाहर में भी cerebrospinal fluid है. So neurons are getting nourishment from here and here as well. The more the nourished the neurons, the better they will work. So in chordates, the nerve cord became dorsal hollow. In others, it is ventral and solid. So this is how the nervous system evolved. So there was a mistake there which I have already corrected, right? So this is about the nervous system. Now let us come about the other than digestive system, then this is your nervous system, and then this reproductive system. The first other organ which came up was the excretory organ, right? Now let us study how excretion takes place. In case of polyphera, I told you by simple diffusion body surface से they remove their waste. जब स्पॉन्जोसील से पानी बाहर निकलता है, ऑस्कुलम से स्पॉन्जोसील से ऑस्कुलम से जब पानी निकलता है तो वेस्ट भी साथ में निकल जाता है, राइट? सो देयर इज नो स्पेसिफिक excretory system, rather excretion just takes place to the body surface. In coelenterate also the body is not so developed. By simple diffusion across the body surface the waste is removed. Same is the case with Ctenophora. Platyhelminth is the first organism जिसमें excretory organ आया, and their excretory organ is called as flame cell or protonephridia. Why do we call it as flame cell? I'll just show you. This is how the flame cell actually looks. This is how it looks, and it has a lot of cilia, है ना? And these cilia they are actually found in this cavity and they are constantly flickering. तो flicker करने की वजह से हमें flame जैसा लगा. It just जैसे flame flicker करता है ना, so it had a flickering. So we just call it flame cells, and we also called it as protonephridia. So first excretory organ is in platyhelminth, you know that platyhelminth में the level of development is organ level of development, right? यहाँ तक you know it was tissue level, this is organ level. Now let us come to askal helminth. In askal helminth, the excretory organ is just an excretory pore. There is a structure inside the body which moves to the outside and is pore से. This is called as excretory pore, जिससे आपका waste बाहर दिया जाता है. And in some there is a special excretory organ called as rennet gland cells. Right now you learn it. जब हम individually आपको पढ़ाएंगे each one of them individually, then I will be dealing with these organs in detail. फिलहाल आप नाम याद कर लो. Annelid में the excretory organ is called as nephridia. I will teach you nephridia later in detail. It is something like this. ये ऐसा सा होता है. It is highly coiled structure जिसके अंदर में बहुत cilia होता है. They have cilia. These cilia they draw in the waist, and this is it has various parts. I'm going to teach you later. This is structure is called as nephridia. This is called as nephrostome. Stome means mouth. Nephro stome. Right? This is the main body, and this is nephridiopore. And this structure is called as nephridia. In arthropod, it is called as Malpighian tubule. Now, what is Malpighian tubule? What happens in arthropod is, say I am just making a cockroach like this. ठीक है? I am just making a cockroach. Cockroach में क्या होता है? They have their digestive system. So say this is their digestive system. ठीक है? जिससे आपका खाना digest होगा और anus से बाहर निकलेगा. इनके midgut में ऐसे पतले पतले, you know, at the junction of midgut and hindgut, you know, a lot of thin, approximately 100-200 thin thread-like structures. These are called as Malpighian tubules. They are found. ये अपना waste digestive system में डाल देते हैं so that you know undigested waste के साथ metabolic waste भी निकल जाए. This is called as Malpighian tubule. I am going to teach you in detail later. Right? Now next let us come to mollusca. In your NCERT, this is very interesting. It says that हम तो ऐसे पढ़ाते हैं कि मोलस्का में पाया जाता है किडनी सैक्स. These are you know special. If I draw it here, मोलस्का को हम यहाँ ड्रॉ कर देते हैं. Say I'm just drawing the body of a snail. I'm just drawing it like this. तो हम लोग तो पढ़ाते हैं कि they have a special structure called as kidney sacs. But आपका NCERT कहता है you will learn what is there. Your NCERT says कि इधर में एक कैविटी होता है जिसमें गिल्स पाया जाता है. Right? They say आपका NCERT का कहना है कि in mollusca gills are responsible both for excretion and respiration. So आपके NCERT में जो है वही याद करेंगे. Now let us come to echinoderms. In echinoderm, the excretory system is called as water vascular system or ambulacral system. ये क्या है? I need some you know place to explain. So where should I draw? So I'll just draw it maybe here. If you can see, I'll just draw it over here. Echinoderms में क्या होता है? I'll teach you that later when I'm teaching echinoderms, right? And that or let me just maybe I should rub one of them. When I'm teaching you echinoderms, I will teach you that in detail. Right now, you just see. This is your echinoderms. Now I'm just making a starfish. Starfish में क्या होता है? Most of the systems are absent. They don't have a circulatory system, excretory system, locomotory system. Everything is done by only one thing. होता क्या है? यहाँ एक water canal होता है. मैंने यहाँ पर कहा भी है. Water vascular system जिसको हम ambulacral system भी कहते हैं. Say this is a radial canal. ठीक है? इस radial there is a center में a circular canal. There is a circular canal. From this circular canal, you know, radial canals they pass to each and every part, right? And in each and every part, they again form subgroups like this. I'm just making it at one place, like this. ठीक है? और होता क्या है? They are aquatic. ये सब में पाया जाता है. They are aquatic. So what will happen is, water will come inside this canal, and once water comes inside the canal, this water will be distributed to each and every part through this canal system. Every part will through the canal system, and this water will carry food. So there is no circulatory system. This water will carry oxygen, so there is no respiratory system, and this water in turn will take the waste and carbon dioxide, and once the water is expelled to the outside, that will be released to the outside once again. I'll just draw it once again to show you little clearly. I need little bit more place. So I'm just drawing it like this, a starfish like this. There is a central canal, I told you, right? This central canal is again linked to each end, then it will go like this, right? And in every part it will form like this, like this, like this, then it will come like this. ये ऐसा पूरा canal system इसके अंदर बना हुआ है. Similarly it will go here and similarly it will go here. Water will enter into this canal and through that water this will spread to every part, and this water will carry oxygen, food, so no circulatory system. It will bring back waste and CO2, so no excretory system. So इसमें most of the systems like excretory system, oxygen भी यही लेकर चला जाता है, so no respiratory system, no circulatory system, no excretory, circulatory, respiratory, because this water will carry oxygen, so no respiratory, carry food, so no circulatory, it will carry the waste, so excretory. So this water system is also called as ambulacral system or water vascular system. Now let me come to hemichordates. In hemichordate what happens is, अगर हम एक hemichordate के ऐसे फोटो बनाएंगे, the body is divided into this proboscis, this body and the tail. This proboscis has a gland. This gland is called as proboscis gland, and this proboscis gland is basically used for excretion. And in chordates, it is mostly kidney, right? So we also had a comparative account about the various types of excretory, a comparative account of excretory system as found in various groups of animals, right? Now that we have done excretory system, let us move quickly to others. Details I will teach you when I will teach you the topic. So let us go to three more quickly. One is muscular system, locomotory system, and then we will also go for reproductive system. Okay, so the next system I am going to teach you is the muscular system. Muscular system means when the muscles develop, right? Muscular system developed quite later. When did it develop? Porifera, they don't have muscles. Ctenophora, they don't have muscles. Coelenterate, they don't have muscles. Platyhelminth, they don't have muscles. The first organism in which the muscles develop, that is your askal helminths. Now in askal helminth what happens is, the muscle is longitudinal. Now what do I mean by longitudinal muscle? Just take the example of this rubber band, right? Just take example of this rubber band. Do you know that rubber band is an elastic structure? So our muscles are also elastic. Muscle की elasticity की वजह से ही there is movement in our body. Be it movement of your hands, be it movement of your gut, any sort of movement is actually because of this, the elastic structures, tissue in our body called as muscles. शुरू में जब ये muscle आया, so it was like this. This is called as longitudinal muscle. Muscle है, but it is arranged like this. So what is the function of longitudinal muscle? This will help movement in only posterior direction. Anterior posterior direction में ही movement होगा, right? So if the muscle is longitudinal, then the movement will be like this only. So सबसे पहले muscles आया askal helminth में, and the muscle was longitudinal muscles. बाद में muscle किस में आया? Annelid में the muscle was both longitudinal and circular. What is a circular muscle? The same rubber band. Now it is in a circular. I have not cut it. It's not longitudinal. It's circular. तो circular होने से movement क्या होगा? It will be like this. Like, and longitudinal होने से क्या होगा? It will be like this. So अगर मेरे पास दोनों तरह का मसल है, that means movement is like this and like this both. अगर दोनों तरह का movement है तो उसमें फायदा क्या है? I am having this and this that enabled peristalsis. Peristalsis में होता है क्या है? वो आपने food में भी peristalsis पढ़ा है. The longitudinal muscles they contract like this, then the circular they contract and the food goes down. So longitudinal, circular, longitudinal, circular. This is longitudinal, this is circular. Both the types of muscles, they came for the first time in annelids. And from annelid onward, all organisms, they have both longitudinal and circular muscles. Muscles they developed for the first time in askal helminth, but it was only longitudinal. This allowed movement only in this direction, and later it was both longitudinal and circular, so the body could be moved both like this and like this. This allowed peristaltic movement, and this peristaltic movement is not helpful only in your digestion. Aapka even lungs they show peristalsis, sometimes they grow like this. Even many organisms they move by peristalsis. ऐसे 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 करके मूव करते हैं. So having both types of muscles had a great evolutionary advantage, right? तो जैसी मसल आया तो मसल के साथ रिलेटेड क्या होगा? That will be your locomotory organ. तो आपको पता है इस दुनिया में मेनली 4 ही तरह के लोकोमोटरी ऑर्गन हैं. फर्स्ट लोकोमोटरी ऑर्गन दैट केम वाज फ्लैजेला. Then many organisms they move with the help of cilia, right? Then some organisms they move with the help of pseudopodia, as in amoeba, you know that pseudopodia. And last in many the movement is with the help of muscles. यही 4 है, right? So what happened is in Porifera, as though they are sessile. I told you they are attached to the substratum. They are non-motile, so obviously they don't need a locomotory organ. But yes, the cells they have cilia. ठीक है? If this is a cell, say this is a cell, the cell has cilia. Now if this is a cell, the cell has cilia, and the movement of the cilia allows the water to continuously pass inside outside. Cilia की movement की वजह से, and they have special ciliated cell for that. That is called as quanocyte. The quanocyte cell looks like this, right? And they have, cilia like this over here. They have a single cilia normally. So what happens is, I'll just draw it here. I'll draw it little bigger. So this is a porifera. ठीक है? And this is this. And I'm just drawing one cell over here. And these cells, they have special structures called as quanocytes. So I'm going to make the quanocyte with the red color. And the quanocytes have cilia. And it is the movement of the cilia which allows water to continuously move inside and outside. So basically they don't have a locomotory organ, but they have ciliated cells called as quanocytes, which are unique only to the porifera. Coelentrates में you know that in hydra you have tentacles, and there are many hydra which shows somersaulting. Hydra में आपका पता होगा, even they show somersaulting like this. They have tentacles, है ना? And even in I don't know whether you've seen jellyfish. कोई भी aquarium में जाएंगे तो you will see jellyfish. They also have tentacles and they move with the help of these tentacles. In Ctenophora, just open your NCERT and you will see that in Ctenophora they have 2 long flagella, and each flagella has a lot of cilia, and this is what it helps them move. इसके अलावा इनकी बॉडी के ऊपर 8 ऐसे ciliated comb plates भी पाए जाते हैं. I'm going to teach you later. They have 8 rows of comb plates. So basically they move with the help of cilia and flagella. Detail में हम आपको बाद में पढ़ाएंगे. Platyhelminths में normally locomotory organ क्या होगा? Parasitic है. They just move with the body, with the blood or whatever with the host. Now coming to askal helminth, since they have muscles, so they can move they show some sort of muscular movement. Annelids it is interesting. The locomotory organ is very special. I told you in aquatic annelids like Nereis. They have parapodia. मैंने बताया था they are oar-like, पतवार जैसा होता है, broadened, which helps them to swim. So some of the aquatic forms they have parapodia. Now look at earthworm. Earthworm is terrestrial. In terrestrial they have to move. They have special pits from where they have hair-like structures. This is called as CT. That is found in earthworm. So this is your earthworm, right? There the locomotory organ is CT. This is your Nereis. In Nereis the locomotory organ is parapodia. ठीक है? And now we will come to the third important example of annelid is leech. In leech, you know that they are all parasitic. मतलब ये तो हमारे बॉडी में खून चूसते हैं, and they just move by muscular movement. Leeches just by peristalsis because they have both longitudinal and circular muscles. Arthropod. In arthropod, the locomotory organ is, that arthropoda का नाम ही क्या है? Arthro means jointed and poda means legs, right? Arthro means jointed and poda means legs. So you know that if I draw a cockroach like this, they have jointed legs like this for movement. Most of them they have jointed legs and they have also wings, right? So here the jointed foot and wings. Mollusca में I just drawing a rough mollusca diagram of a mollusca. They have foot. I will show you all this later. They have a head, they have a body, and they have a foot. They move with the help of foot. In echinoderms, it is the water vascular system which helps in moving. That is called as tube feet. When I teach you echinoderms, I will show that. वो जो water vascular system मैंने बताया था ना echinoderms में, I told you like if this is this, they have a central canal, right? And from this central canal they have radial canals, and these radial canals they actually end in a special structure called as tube feet, right? See this special structure is called as tube feet. When water rushes into these canals, these tube feet which were like this, the moment the water rushes they become erect like this and they help them move. ये echinoderm पढ़ाएंगे तो हम आपको पढ़ाएंगे. हेमिकॉर्डेट में there is no special, they are mostly tuberculous. ये ना ऐसे जमीन के नीचे ट्यूब्स में रहते हैं. Tuberculous, they are mostly sedentary in habit, and थोड़ा बहुत जो भी movement होता है वो मसल से हो जाता है. Chordates में तो you know that movement is varied. Fish में है fins, then we have some have wings, some have foot, and like that. ठीक है? So this is about your muscular system and locomotory system. Now last we will go is to the reproductive system. We still have circulatory system, respiratory system, and reproductive system. So let us do one thing. These systems we will do it in the next lecture, because we have circulatory system, respiratory system, reproductive system will also take a lot of time. So let us do it in, or let me do one thing. Let me just complete it. So the next system is circulatory system. In up till Askell-Helmeth, the circulatory system is absent. Annelid May, for the first time circulatory system came, but it was closed. What is closed? I taught you yesterday. In all others it is open. I taught you yesterday. And here it is closed. Right? Now respiratory system, till here, the respiration takes place through skin. So there is no respiratory organ till annelids. Right? Then in arthropod, the respiratory organ is called as trachea if it is terrestrial, and if it is aquatic it will be gills. Most of the aquatic organisms they have gills, right? Mollusca aquatic, so they have gills. मैंने कहा था echinoderm में there is no respiratory system. It all occurs through the ambulacral system. Hemichordates are exclusively marine, so gills, and in chordates it can be through gills or lungs. बाकी तो when I will teach you in detail, I will let you know about each one of them. We will have a quick look at the reproductive system as well, and when I teach them individually, I will tell you once again. Asexual reproduction is found in few of them, like in Porifera, it is by fragmentation. In Coelenterate, you know Hydra, they have budding. Then in Ctenophora, it is only sexual. Platyhelminth में आपको पता है, they show regeneration. They have the highest power of regeneration. If you cut a planaria into pieces, you know that if this is a planaria, and if you cut it into pieces, each piece will regenerate into a new planaria. You have learnt it already in class 10. बाकी सब में asexual reproduction नहीं है. Again in hemichordates, the asexual reproduction is through regeneration, right? In all we have sexual reproduction by gametes. Only in Coelenterate there is a special phenomena called as metagenesis. What is this metagenesis? I will teach you when I teach Coelenterates. So asexual reproduction is found in few of them, and sexual is found in all of them. Only this one, it shows a special thing called as metagenesis. Right? We will deal all this when we are looking at, we will deal them one by one in details later as well. So now next we will come to sexes. In Porifera, you will remember one thing, child. Monoecious means C-I-O-U-S. Monoecious means unisexual. Bisexual. That means male and female are found in the same body. But याद रखना, mono का opposite होगा bi. They are together. Bisexual means male and female in the same body. And dioecious means unisexual. That means there is a separate body for male and female. ठीक है? So now let us come. In case of Porifera, there are most, and there is another word for monoecious or bisexual is hermaphrodite. ठीक है? This is hermaphrodite. This you will know. P-H-R-O-D-I-T-E. ठीक? So what happens in Porifera? They are bisexual. मतलब the male and female gametes they are made in the same body. They are dioecious. That means the male gamete is formed in a different body, right? And the female is formed in the different body. Here also the sexes are not separate. All those who are in yellow, they are all unisexual. That means male and female, they are made in the same body. The male gamete and the female gamete. That is in Porifera, Ctenophora and Platyhelminth. Right? In Coelenterate, Aschelhelminth, Arthropod, Mollusca, Echinoderm, Hemichordate and Chordate, mostly they are bisexual. That means the gamete is made in male body and the female gamete is made in female body. So you will just learn it. Except Porifera, Ctenophora and Platyhelminths, most of them, right? There is one exception, that is annelids. In annelid what happens? Some of them are dioecious. That means bisexual, as in case of Nereis. But in case of earthworm and leech, they are unisexual. That means the male and female gamete is formed in the same body. So you have to find out a trick. These three are, unisexual, male, female in the same body. In them, some are monoecious, some are dioecious. Here also, mostly they are dioecious, but other than that, I have written a word here, sexual dimorphism. Sexual dimorphism means the male and female are clearly distinguished. The male Ascaris is normally short and like this, and the female Ascaris is normally like this, coiled and large. So यही नहीं है कि male and female gamete male female body में बनता है. There is a clear cut distinction. You can see it. You can tell which is male and which is female. And for the first time, sexual dimorphism. Di means two, and morph means morphology, means how you see. So clear cut male and female, that was visible for the first time in Aschelhelminth. Right. So once again, Porifera, Ctenophora and Platyhelminth, the male and female gametes are normally formed in the same body. In others, in annelid, there are some who are bisexual, some are unisexual. In all others, they are mostly bisexuals. Right? They are mostly bisexual. You can go through this diagram. Now let us come to the next one. After sexes, last two things, that is fertilization and development. You will learn that in Porifera, the fertilization is internal. That means the male and female gametes, they are fused inside the body of the female. In Coelenterate, in few it is outside, in few it is inside. In Ctenophora, Platyhelminth, Ctenophora, it is external, outside the body. Platyhelminth, Aschelhelminth, it is again internal. Annelids means few annelids, it is external, outside the body. And in few it is internal, that is within the body. In arthropods, it is within the body of the female. In mollusca, it is outside the body. In echinoderms and hemichordate, also it is outside the body of the female. And in chordates, the fertilization is mostly internal. Right? So this you have to learn. I cannot help you much, except in most of the aquatic organs, the fertilization is outside the body of the female. Right? So at least the exclusively one. See, this is exclusive, it is external, it is exclusive, it is external, it is exclusively marine, that is external. In others, in few, it is within the body of the female, in few it is outside, right? So this you have to learn. And development is indirect in all except chordate. What is indirect development? That means if this is the adult, right, this is the adult forms gametes, say male gamete and the female gamete. The gamete fuse to form zygote, and the zygote will not form embryo directly. ये डायरेक्ट बच्चा नहीं बनाएगा, rather एक intermediate stage आएगा, and that intermediate stage is called as larva. There is an intermediate stage called as larva. Now what is larva and why we it? And why it is formed in almost all non-chordates. Listen to it carefully. What happens is, in non-chordates, the chances of survival is very less. जिंदा रहने के chances कम होते हैं. So they make a lot of, offsprings. बहुत सारे offsprings बनाते हैं ये सोचकर कि कुछ भी बच गए तो कम से कम क्या होगा, continuity of species होगी. एक तो body less complex है, पानी में fertilization हो रहा है, it is vulnerable to predation, so they produce a lot of offsprings. ये सोचकर कि अगर कुछ भी बच गए तो आपका species continue होगा. But if I have to make a lot of children, I cannot give enough food to all the, I cannot, completely develop all my what happens, I'll tell you what. Suppose if I have one child and I want that child to study medical. Suppose it costs 10 lakhs to study medical. एक बच्चा है मेरा, तो चलो ठीक है, I can spend my entire money on that child. But if I have 10 children, I have 10 lakh rupees. So obviously I cannot spend 10 lakhs on all. So what I am going to do is, I am going to tell my children, देखो हम तुम्हारा एडमिशन करा देंगे, स्टार्टिंग में जो एडमिशन हम करा देंगे, आई एम गोइंग टू गिव 1 lakh rupee to all of you. After you join your college, you do part-time work, you earn your own money and pay the remaining fees. That is what happens in most of the non-chordates. Most of the non-chordates में क्या होता है, the zygote, since a lot of offsprings are formed, so these offsprings are not completely developed. These are half-developed offsprings. They are called as larvae. And these larvae, they are voracious feeders. ये खूब खाते हैं और खाने के बाद ये larva अपना complete development करके embryo को बनाते हैं. So larva is basically an in intermediate state. Once again, non-chordate में they have a lot of offsprings. So I cannot make, and बच्चा पैदा करने में बहुत एनर्जी लगता है. 100 बच्चे अगर मुझे बनाने तो I cannot make 100 full offsprings. So semi-developed offsprings I release outside my body. These underdeveloped or half-developed offsprings are called as larvae. These larvae are voracious eaters. They will eat a lot. They will get their own food, and by taking that food, they will complete their development and get develop into a adult or an embryo, whatever, right? So those organism जिसमें intermediate larva पाया जाता है, there the development is indirect. That means direct baby नहीं पैदा हो रहा है, पैदा कौन हो रहा है, larva, and larva से baby पैदा होगा, so the development is indirect. Almost all the non-chordates they have larva, almost all of them, and हर का larva का अपना नाम है. At the end of the chapter, I'll share a chart. This does not come in medical, so we do not teach anymore. लेकिन हर के लार्वा का अलग नाम है. इसके लार्वा का नाम है, इसका नाम है एम्फीब्लास्टुला, इसका नाम है साइडिपिड लार्वा. It's like this. Everyone has their own larva, and the larva has a separate name. So almost in all of them, the development is indirect. In some, it may be direct. जैसे some arthropod में development is direct, like cockroaches. डायरेक्ट बच्चा पैदा होता है, बटरफ्लाई इनडायरेक्ट, बीच में कैटरपिलर होता है. सो मोस्टली इनडायरेक्ट डेवलपमेंट ऑलमोस्ट सब में पाया जाता है. दो सब में in some few organism may show direct development, that means giving birth to young ones. Chordate में लार्वा नहीं पाया जाता except very few, like frog में लार्वा बनता है tadpole, the semi developed form. Tadpole is a voracious eater and then it develops into a frog. Right? So this is about the development. So with that, I have actually given you a comparative account on all the major characteristics of all the hemichordates that you have to study. Right? So with that, almost as I said, 90% of your chapter is complete. I have given you a comparative account on habitat. I have given you on exoskeleton. I have given you on then the system with digestive system and digestion, nervous system, excretory system, muscular system, locomotory system, circulatory system, respiratory system, reproductive system, which includes the sexes, fertilization and development. Right? So with this, the major characteristics of all the non-chordates have been somehow discussed through this tabular form. So अब अगर I ask you, I have not even started teaching any of them, but if I ask you again, say like give me some characteristic of annelid, you can tell me so many things. You can tell me that annelids are multicellular, they are organ system level of development, then the body is metamerically segmented, then they do not have a notochord, then they are triploblastic, they are coelomate, they are hemocele, then you can give a comparative account, you can tell me so much about them. Yeah, the habitat is all aquatic or terrestrial. They do not have an exoskeleton. The digestive system is complete. The digestion is extracellular. They have solid ventral nerve cord. The excretory system is nephridia. They have both longitudinal and circular muscles. The locomotory organ are CT and parapodia. The circulatory system is of closed type. The respiratory system is absent. It takes place through moist skin. In them, asexual reproduction is absent. Sexual reproduction takes place through gametes. They are mostly dioecious. They can be monoecious or dioecious. Fertilization can be external or internal, and they do have larva formation. See, I have still not taught you any of the non-chordates, but you know so many characters about each one of them. As I am again saying, 90% of your topic is complete. Now I am going to, in my next lecture, I am going to take one by one separately. Few points are just left. Porifera in all of them, थोड़े points are बच गए. So we are going to revise these points and add those extra points that need to be learned, and by that, you know, the entire non-chordate will be complete. I hope you could understand the lecture well, and if you like my video, please just click the like button. Do please put your comment. If you are new, do subscribe and press the bell notification, and you keep studying. We will meet very soon in my next class. Till then, goodbye and good.